So what happens when you slow your breathing down to inhaling for 6 breaths and exhaling for 6 breaths? You are slowing your breathing down. Whenever you get upset, someone says, hey man, slow down, take a breath. Well, why do they say take a breath? Because as soon as you do that, you go into your autonomic nervous system and you override it. And what happens is you automatically calm yourselves. So if you were to stop for like maybe 30 seconds and just do 6 breaths in, to the count of 6 counts in, 6 counts out. And the other thing, there's a group called the Institute for Heart Math, where they teach us if we breathe in with our eyes closed and we imagine we're breathing in through our chest, not through our mouth or nose, but imagine the air going in through your heart. It stimulates your heart. And when your heart is in synchrony, in harmony, in resonance with your brain, that's when you get the creative ideas that are going to help you get through this time. So it's called quick coherence technique, simply breathing in through the heart and out through the heart. So mindfulness. The second thing is meditation. Take time every morning to meditate. I recommend for 20 minutes. If that's too long, do 10 minutes. But if you've never meditated before, you simply close your eyes and you just focus on the sensation of breathing in and out. It could be the coolness. Just do this now. Close your eyes. As you inhale, inhale through your nose. Focus on the sensation of the air coming in through your nose. It'll be a little cooling inside your nasal passage. And then as you exhale, focus on that same sensation. It'll be a little warmer. So you can focus on that. And if your mind wanders to what you're thinking about, come back to the sensation. The other thing you can focus on is the sensation of your chest and stomach going in and out as you breathe in and out. You could also focus on a phrase like, I am love, or I'm going to get through this, or all is good. So all of those things will help you calm yourself down. The other thing is do more of what you love to do. Anytime you're doing mastery, focusing on something you're good at. So if you're good at playing the piano, play the piano. If you're good at doing internet marketing, do some more internet marketing. If you're great at writing copy, write copy. If you love to play table tennis with your kids, play table tennis, ping pong, whatever. So when you're doing what you love, it takes you into the moment. You fall into that and you're not thinking about all the problems. Movement. When you're in movement, you are totally in the present moment. We're not supposed to be playing basketball right now because that's not social distancing. But the point is, if you're out there running, if you're on your treadmill, if you're doing a yoga posture, Pilates, if you're shooting baskets in your own backyard, all that brings you into the present moment. Also music, listen to positive, uplifting music right now while you're moving. This will keep you centered. And also finally, meaningful communication. These workshops that are now happening that Colin's putting on over the next 6 days. This is meaningful communication that's meaningful to you and your success, but also reaching out to your brother, your sister, your kids who you can't maybe see because you're all quarantined in different places or self-quarantining. What happens is that you want to make sure that nobody's feeling isolated and you're not feeling isolated. So reach out to people. Now, another thing is during this period of time, I want you to have an accountability partner. Someone that you're going to talk to every single day in the business world. It can be someone in the same business or a different business, but someone that you're going to make a commitment to every single day of what we call the rule of 5. The rule of 5 is one of the most powerful success principles. It says every day do 5 things that will lead you to the achievement of your major goal. So one of your major goals right now might be to keep my business from going bankrupt. It might be to sell X number of books or home study programs. It might be to find a certain way to get your products advertised online so they can be sold like, Amazon's doing right now, cleaning up with everybody. So whatever that major goal is, you want to do 5 action steps a day for the achievement of that goal. So if Colin were my partner, I would call him every morning for a few minutes and I would say, Colin, here's my 5 action steps for today. And then tomorrow I would say, Colin, here's what I accomplished yesterday, these 5 steps. If I didn't do it, I can't give excuses. I can't blame anybody. I can't complain about it. I simply say, this is what I didn't do. Colin's going to say, are you willing to recommit to that? And then if I commit to that again, we now have accountability. The problem with entrepreneurs, especially solo entrepreneurs, or if you're home alone right now, in a sense, you're a solo entrepreneur. You don't have anyone to report to. You're the boss. And so it's easy to not do the hard things, the difficult things, the challenging things, the things that give you poopy pants that Colin talked about in the beginning. I love that metaphor. I wrote that down. That's way cool. So Anyway, very important to stay structured, structure your day. And one of the things too is to remove distractions. Some of you are working at home right now and you've got kids around, you have a spouse around who normally isn't there when you're working. And so make sure you have a way to create the distance to create a safe space for you to work. Your work environment should be something that inspires you, not expires you. And so one of my friends, Alex Mendozian, he puts on a baseball cap when he's focusing. And his kids know when dad's wearing that cap, don't interrupt him. His wife knows when dad's got that cap on, don't interrupt him. Now you have to take that cap off occasionally, like at lunchtime and so forth, so they have access to you. But you want to create a safe working environment for yourself. I want to show you the power of intention. I want you all to look at one of your hands. Take your hand, and I'm going to take my right hand. I want you to look at the bottom of your palm. There is a line that goes across. It's a little wrinkle. You have one on the other hand as well. What I want you to do, I'm going to show you the power of intention and why your intention needs to be really strong right now. And I want you to line up the wrinkle on one hand on top of the wrinkle on the other hand, like I'm doing right now. Do it with surgical precision, like you were a plastic surgeon. And then roll your hands up like this. And you'll see that on Colin's hand, his left hand is slightly longer than his right hand. The same thing, my right hand is slightly longer than my left. And what I want you to do now is take your shorter hand and put it about 8 to 12 inches in front of your face like I'm doing here. And we are going to say to that shorter hand 8 times in unison. I know this is weird, but do it with me, trust me. We're gonna say in unison on the count of 3, grow longer. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. Grow longer, grow longer, grow longer, grow longer. Grow longer, grow longer, grow longer, grow longer. Okay, good. Now, line up your hands again, just like you did the last time, and then roll them up and notice what happens. And now you'll notice that that hand has grown a little bit longer. Mine's grown a lot longer. Colin's is almost as tall as the other one. And what I want you to see here is that simply by giving yourself a command, your body responded. You can relax your hands there. So what happens is that when you're thinking thoughts like, I'm not going to make this is going to be terrible, I'm going to get sick, we're going to go bankrupt, whatever, you are literally sending an intention to 2 places that are really critical. One is to your own body. The second is to the world outside of you. Your clients are picking up that. You may not believe that, but there is something called the internet, not the internet, but the internet, that literally, if I was in a workshop with you, I could have someone come up and put their arm out like this, have the whole group send them a negative thought, and their arm would go weak. They would not be able to hold it up. I'd have the group send them a positive thought, and they would be able to keep their arm strong. So every time you're thinking a thought, it's going out like an email, like a spam email to the universe. So you want to be thinking positive thoughts. If you're a leader, you want to be thinking positive thoughts, because your certainty and your energy and your enthusiasm, your positivity is what's going to keep your students, your clients, your staff, your family, your friends on the belief that we're going to get through this, the belief that it's going to work, that we're going to sell, we're going to be successful, we're going to be financially abundant, et cetera, et cetera. Now, another thing I'd like to share with you, and Colin talked about this, is Napoleon Hill's quote, "In every adversity is a seed of an equal or greater benefit." There's all kinds of benefits that can come out of this. For example, I had to do a talk in Florida last week, and I decided to cancel the talk. I didn't want to go on the plane, the social distancing, the church was thinking about canceling the event. I was going to lose out on talking to about 700 people. I didn't want to lose that opportunity. I didn't want to lose the income. So what I said to the church is, how about this? How about I come on, we'll do a Zoom call to your entire congregation, even people that didn't buy a ticket. I will come in November 17th when I have a free date. I'll still do the gig. That way I got to keep my deposit and they didn't have to ask back for it. We had about 700 people on the call. It was a great call. They loved it. And I was able to sell books and tapes and workshops at the end of it. So it was successful. Now I'm thinking like, why the hell do I ever get on a plane and go anywhere? It's like, wait a second, we can do this without traveling. I was supposed to do a workshop for 19 authors that were coming to Santa Barbara. And 7 of them actually did show up at another event. My wife said, "You're not going there. We're social distancing. We're quarantining ourselves." So Patty Aubrey, my business partner, and 9 people showed up at that workshop. I came in just like I'm doing right now. It worked really well. Nobody asked for their money back. Some people said it was the best thing that ever happened. The hotel actually kicked the workshop out of the hotel room at 1:30 in the afternoon because the governor said no meetings allowed with more than 9 people, and we had about 15 people in the room. We moved it over to Patty's house. This was the group that survived, and they got to move together. And we know that anytime you survive a risk with somebody else, it bonds the group. If you don't believe that, go camping sometime when it rains. You will become lifelong friends with the people you experience that with. And so what happens is that we want to be, realizing that there are all kinds of new opportunities coming out of this: online coaching, online mentoring, online businesses. During the recession that occurred right after the 2008 financial meltdown, a lot of people were selling stuff on eBay that they didn't need anymore, and just to get money to buy food and to support their family. And this woman saw a business opportunity. She said a lot of people don't want to leave their homes, just like now. A lot of people don't know how to wrap things up, like, if you're wrapping up a piece of furniture or something. And so she became this business where she said, if you sell stuff on eBay, this was in this one town, eventually when she started having satellite offices around the country, I'll pick up the product, we'll ship it for you, you'll pay us the shipping fee that you get. And she started a business that made her hundreds of thousands of dollars. So there's all kinds of opportunities that will come up now for you to think about. And one of the things I really want to encourage you is another rule. It's called the Law of Probabilities. The Law of Probabilities says the more things you try, the more likely one of them will work. The more people you talk to, the more likely one of them will buy your product. The more books you read, the more likely one of them will have an idea that will totally change your life. The more seminars like Colin's putting on right now that you attend over the next 6 days, the more likely one of these will actually radically change your life for the better over these next 6 days. So participate in as many learning opportunities as you can right now. Something I teach is called the hour of power. 20 minutes of reading in the morning, 20 minutes of meditation, and 20 minutes of exercise. All of us know we should meditate. We all know we should exercise more. We all know we should read more. Most of us aren't doing it. You don't have an excuse now. All that time you used to do and driving to work and getting ready, driving home, you've got an extra hour or two a day now, and spend that time. Colin talked about influencers. Who are your influencers? One of the things that Robin Sharma talks about that I love is your influencers can be books. Books are conversations you have with the author. There's a guy at Harvard, haven't memorized his name yet, but he is a researcher. He says books are conversations that you're having with the author, and your life is the result of your conversations. The conversation you have, like today with us, the conversation you have inside your head. So start having conversations with people who are writing really meaningful things that can grow your business, grow your consciousness, grow your empowerment, grow you as a manager, a financial manager. There's so much information out there that you can take advantage of right now. One of the things too about opportunities is right now you are home. You have more time. I read that Isaac Newton in the 1500s, there was the plague. The plague killed millions of people around the world. And Isaac Newton was quarantined at home. It was during that time that he invented calculus and he came up with the theory of gravity. Now, had there not been a plague, we might not have that had developed. So again, think of the possibilities that are going to happen for you. Another thing I think it's important is one of the things we talk about in my book, The Success Principles, is tell the truth faster. It's a principle. So right now I was talking with someone earlier on a podcast I did before this hour, and we talked about how so many entrepreneurs are not telling the truth. They're afraid to tell people what's really going on for them. For example, when we had to start moving our trainings and canceling some of our things, some people, we were afraid originally, some people would want all their money back. And if you're like me as an entrepreneur, you're often spending the deposits people give you before you've actually delivered the service. And so if everyone in our trainings had asked for all their money back, we would have not had the money to give them. It was not in our savings accounts. Could I have gone and sold Apple stock and done things like that to keep it integrity? Sure. But we told people, look, if everyone asks for their money back, we're not going to be able to put on this training in August, which we now had scheduled for March. So our request is you'll just defer this or buy one of our other online products. 98% of the people said yes, because we told them the truth. So don't be afraid to be honest with your customers and your clients. You don't want to be panicked, but you want to be honest and transparent. And that's true with your family as well. Have time with them and tell the truth. One of the success principles is something called have a heart talk. It's a tool I learned many, many years ago. And a heart talk is when you gather a family or people in a company together in groups of 8 or less. So last week we had a heart talk on Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock with all of my employees. Now we were all in different offices. We had mostly virtual employees anyway, but the people that were here were also separated. Everyone went home. We had 12 people on the call. Everyone talked about the challenges they're having with childcare, how their kids are at home. It's harder for them to focus. All the different things with their husband out of work, he's home, or they don't have the childcare, or one person's husband is a doctor, he's out there treating people with coronavirus. Is he going to bring that back for the kids? So we're just telling the truth about our emotions and our feelings. At the end of that, everyone said, we need to do this every Friday at 4 o'clock. We need to have this heartfelt communication. So do that with your family. A lot of you are going to be spending more time at home with your family. Do it with your employees. Get on Zoom, get on Skype, get on, Facebook Live, whatever it is. Have a community conversation to get through the feelings. Because when the feelings aren't shared, then you're not able to focus on the business. You're not able to focus on the creative thoughts that you have. So I would encourage you to do that as well. Another thing is a principle we have is ask, 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 ask. You're going to have to ask a lot of people for support, for forbearance of debt. Maybe you owe some money to somebody. Maybe you're going to have to ask the bank to forgive you. I just saw a really good podcast on it's okay to defer your debt, but don't just assume you can do that. Get in touch with the people you owe money to. Talk to them. Talk to your mortgage broker. Talk to your bank. Talk to your your loan officer. Let them know. Most banks are going to forgive you now. They're going to be like maybe a 2 or 3 month moratorium. In America, we've said all student debt, there's no interest paid on student debt for the next 3 months. Bank of America has said you don't have to pay your mortgage payments for the next 3 months. In California, you don't have to pay your electric bill. It's illegal to set off electricity. Everybody has to pony up. If you're a landlord, you need to give some space to the people that are your tenants, but you also need to talk to your bank because you may not be able to make your mortgage payments on the building where you have your apartments. But it's really important to be in communication and to be honest and to ask for what you need. There's another principle we have, which is called Inquire within, which is basically, again, ask for inner guidance during this period of time. It's really important that you take time to close your eyes, assume, if you don't believe in God, assume there is one, or there's some source of energy, or just you have a creative subconscious that you can ask for ideas from. So I can go inside and simply say, show me 3 ways that I can act today that would be helpful to help get through the coronavirus and keep our company afloat. And then literally ideas will start to flow into your mind. But you have to create some quiet time, take the time to ask internally, and then just sit for 5 to 10 minutes and listen. And the way to get into that space best is to actually do that breathing exercise we talked about, where you breathe in through your heart and then imagine exhaling through your heart. And that will activate the connection between the heart and the body and the subconscious mind. So I would encourage you all to do that as well. And then finally, one of our success principles is to practice uncommon appreciation. This is a really critical time to appreciate your kids, to appreciate your wife and husband, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, appreciate your staff, appreciate your customers. By Colin going out and doing this series of 6 calls, it's not just something of service. He's saying to you, I appreciate you. I know I care about you. This is the way I can express that caring. And so make sure you're expressing caring to the people that you can do that to. I saw a CNN news report the other day where someone left a $9,000 tip at their local restaurant and gave it to the owner and said, I want you to divide this up among your employees over the next month to make sure nobody doesn't make any money. And I think everybody was going to get about $600 from that tip. Now, if you're in a position where you can afford to do that, great. If you're not, what can you do to reach out? I love Canadians. Canadians tend to be the kinder people on the planet. I know a lot of you are Canadians watching this. Someone created something called caremongering instead of scaremongering. And they started reaching out to their neighbors saying, how can we help each other? And this little neighborhood thing blossomed out to 1,000 volunteers within 24 hours. And now there's over 7,000 volunteers all over Canada that are organizing themselves to be of care and to support each other. And to, one of my friends, Bill Harris, during the 9/11, after 9/11 happened, he got on and he just answered questions of every one of his clients. If you have any questions at all, He was on for 2 weeks just doing chat. Now today we would do Skype or we would do Zoom like we're doing now. But what was really amazing is his business improved by 250% during that period of time, simply by him never talking about his business at all, just by giving. So the more you give, the more it comes back. So those are some of the principles I would talk about right now. And then I'll turn it back to you, Colin. We can open it up to Q&A.
Yeah, beautiful, Jack. Thank you so much as well. And, I trust all of you are really starting to realize, at the end of the day, it's a really, really important time to get really internal. I love what you called that, Jack, the internet, what's happening inside of you and what are you vibrating, what are you putting out there. Just a huge thank you, Jack, for being on. We'll go to Q&A now. Just a couple of key things for everyone today. I just want to get you an overview and then we'll do Q&A, and we'll stay on for a little bit and do Q&A with you. Number one, make new commitments. Make new commitments today to what you're going to do differently. I love the power hour of 20 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of reading, 20 minutes of fitness or activity. Really, really important. So make sure you're putting new commitments in place and new commitments to your business to go online, do things differently. Focus on opportunity. There's so much opportunity happening right now. And the opportunity might not be in your business right now, it might be opportunity with your family. I can tell you one thing, once you go through day 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, you'll see the opportunities in your business. Opportunities you never ever thought were even possible will suddenly come around and you'll be like, oh my God, Colin, I didn't see it that way. I should have done this a while back. It doesn't matter. We're going to show you how to really walk through those opportunities. Most importantly, what are you vibrating? What's your energy? What are you putting out there? Jack shows you on your hands, your intention is so important. What intention are you putting out there on a daily basis? Really important. Who are your influencers? Really get clear on who your influencers are. What are you putting inside your internet? In terms of what are you feeding from the outside that's going to be percolating and really processing on the inside. So get really clear on who your influencers are, what books you're reading, what books are you listening to, who are you speaking to. Being on these calls is a huge influence. And most importantly, make some sound decisions. Make some sound decisions moving forward. Really important. I mean, Jack gave us some really great things, the laws of possibility. People will likely buy. It's a matter of just, going through the processes, really understanding that we will, we'll get through this. In adversity, there's always benefit. So it was so fascinating. When I did this presentation, I did the list of the overview at the end, and the list of all those lighter blue words actually become COVID. I see COVID not as a negativity. I see it as positive, because this is making our planet different, the way we do business different, going back to actually some good quality family time and doing things that we maybe haven't done for a while, taking our world from a me world back to a we world, which is so important, of really getting ourselves really focused on that.
Colin, there's some great questions coming in from the group here. There was a question from Bruna. She's in the salon and spa industry, which obviously has been heavily affected by what's going on right now. So maybe we can go to her question on how she can be generating revenue in the salon and spa industry.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Jack wants to open up to that, or you want me to go for that one on that one, Jack?
You go first, Colin.
Okay. So, Bruna, that's the key thing. Many spas have shut down right now. Unfortunately, it is what it is. If you're in a high touch industry, in other words, spas, hair salons, massage therapy, physiotherapy, chiropractic, what have you. Unfortunately, with all I don't know why they call it social distancing. It should be called physical distancing. The physical distancing is one of the things that is, of course, a big hindrance right now to your business. So one of the key things to consider might be finally actually doing something where you actually go online, maybe create a YouTube channel. Maybe this is taking you into more an online exposure. Maybe if you've got an online store, Bruno, you're like, I don't have an online store. Maybe you can online. I'll be talking about this. Maybe you can sell products online. Maybe you can do different things, that can drive revenue for your business. Maybe you can become a guest expert. Maybe go on to other people's shows, podcasts, what have you, and be a guest expert that can drive maybe some opportunity in your business around revenue. Like, I'll be talking a lot about this tomorrow, getting right to the internet. Unfortunately, you are physically touching people in your business. For me, it's around going online right now. Maybe you can create an online educational channel where you can educate people on some of the key things that you do in your spa to help people in some way or form. So for me, it's maybe in the moment right now, there might not be immediate money, but maybe 3 or 4 days from now, you can build an online platform that starts to generate you money. And it's about thinking outside the box. As Jack said today, if as well, like, no, I'm not interested in doing it that way, well, then you cannot complain. The way you were doing it is now done for the next month or two. So we have to think different ways of doing it, and we might never go back to the old way of doing it. Just so you know that, you heard Jack say, I don't know why I get on a plane and fly all over the place. I might be doing things differently going forward, and it's the same for all of you. Think of the old way as the old way. Now the universe is holding you to a higher standard to maybe creating a new way of doing things in some way or form. You want to add something to that, Jack?
Yeah, I think, you're in an industry which is basically called the beauty industry. So you know that people that are your clients want to look beautiful. They want to look good. They want to look, attractive. So there are some things you could do, like you could join a multi-level marketing company that is selling essential oils, that is selling cosmetics, that is selling weight loss programs, that is selling things for hair care products, natural products for your home, whatever. So you already have a clientele of people. So if there's a way to reach out to people, and I always tell this of anyone in any kind of service industry, you always want to be collecting the contact information of the people that are your clients. So at times like this, you can do that. I just had a person reach out to me. It was one of my students who has a online, there was a lot of multi-level marketing programs can be done on the internet where I don't have to go anywhere. I can do a home, I can go into your house and talk to you and the family members in your house, just like we're doing right now. I can demonstrate a product and I can basically then sell you that product. It'll be delivered by the internet, UPS and all those people are still operating. So that's one thing you can do. And I like what you said too. You could be doing something where you create a little course and teach people, well, how are you going to take care of your hair while there's no salons open? What are some of the creative things you can do, hairstyles, things like that. So yeah, I think those are all good things that you can do. Challenging,
Absolutely.
but doable.
Absolutely. I think one of the key things for all the listeners today is understand, one of the most important for me is actually serving people. Serve people right now. I think the dust is still settling, because for me, most people, uncertainty means fear. So for me right now, it's actually maybe just serving your clients, helping them. How do you help the husband or how do you help the wife learn how to cut hair so they can cut your hair while you're home? I was thinking about this morning. I'm standing in front of the mirror this morning. I'm like, cut my hair when the salon that I'm going to is closed. I'm like, can I train Gabby to cut my hair or my daughters to cut my hair, what have you? I think about this morning. I think I don't have a lot of hair up top there. It still need to get cut, and that's, maybe you can create some videos around that, and maybe you serve people. It's how you go through this in the beginning is how you'll come out at the end, is one of my favorite ways of looking at this. And just be of service to your customers, and do think how to go online. We'll be talking about some of those key strategies tomorrow as well, like how to really think differently in your business and get some really solid, different suggestions of what business owners have done to really be creative. And I'll share one of them with you, which is coming up tomorrow, how one business owner here in Vancouver who owns a gym. Yeah, people are like, oh, but everyone's doing now online gym activities now. This business owner decided, you know what, I have all this equipment. I have 50 bicycles. I have so many treadmills and whatever. He decided, if you want to rent a bicycle from him or a treadmill, whatever, he'll deliver it to your home for the next couple of months and you pay rent on it. So you rent the bicycle, rent the treadmill for the next couple of months. And his gym is now empty, which is fine because he's still paying his rent on it, or his lease, or whatever it is, his mortgage. But the key thing is his equipment's out there making him money right now, and he's serving his customers. Like, I think that's super cool. So for all of you watching this, think outside of the box. If this is one time to think outside of the box, it's now. Really important. Let's go to another question, Andrew. How's your time, Jack? I just want to make sure we honor your time as well.
I got nothing else to do, so I'm here for you. Go ahead.
You're awesome. Thank you, Jack.
No
Andrew,
problem.
any other questions on that were pending on there?
Absolutely, Colin. There are dozens of questions that all have the same vein around messaging, and people need to continue the revenue stream, but how do they position themselves so that they don't sound salesy or tone deaf or sleazy right now, but still bringing in revenue? So talk about messaging a little bit.
Yeah, I think the key thing for me around messaging right now is go to the simple statement of because there's so many people right now that have gone crazy. They need revenue, cash coming in, and they've gone to a place of desperation. When you have a place of desperation, you vibrate desperation, and people won't want to buy from you to start off with. So first of all, what are you vibrating when you can go near the customer? Most importantly, are you serving? Key statement I often use here at Make Your Mark: because you think everyone needs what you have, it doesn't mean they want it. Very simply, because you think they need it, it doesn't mean they want it. So if you're going out there going, oh my goodness, you got some extra pounds on you, you need my weight loss program, you're virtually just telling them straight to their face, sorry, you're fat, and that is not appropriate. And it doesn't matter what other product or service you do that with. First of all, go out and serve the customer, listen to what people, help people, and listen to what their challenges are right now. More so than anything, this one time to be listening more than anything. People say, what messaging should I use? No, it's not about what you say right now. It's how much you listen, because the more you listen, the more you can serve. And if the person's not interested in buying anything from you, don't tell them, I got this health program and you should be taking it right now. Right now is the time to get your immune system up. You should be buying my immune products or my essential oils to help you with your immunity. Be very careful. Some people don't need what you have, or they need it. They might not want what you have. And the quickest way to piss somebody off, to put it bluntly, is to tell them that they need your product or your service. Let them through conversation tell you that they have a challenge, and then just serve them with a beautiful product or service that you have. Really, that's my number one answer to that. I'm not sure what Jack would say to that.
Well, one of the things I think that is embedded in that question is like, where is the right time to be just serving people? And when is the right time to say, oh, by the way, I have a product that can assist you during this period of time, or I have a product that can assist you anytime in your life. One of my friends, who I won't mention, just sent me something where he normally charges a lot of money for his trainings. And he said, because of this going on right now, I'm going to be giving away blah, 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 blah for free. And I went and said, geez, I want to sign up for that. And then he said, but you got to do it within the next 24 hours. So all of a sudden there's this scarcity thing. We know that when you put scarcity, there's only so many, and it's going to stop at this time, that it induces fear. And so here's a time when people are already in fear. Well, I decided I want it. I go in and it says, oh, and by the way, I have this other product that normally costs like $297. I'm going to sell it for $27 right now. That was that little pop-up at the end. I thought, okay, I'm willing to spend $27. But I didn't have my credit card. I was out in my office, which is not attached to my house. It was raining. I'll do it tomorrow. I go in tomorrow, or yesterday, I tap in there for the 27. I got my credit card now, and it doesn't go anywhere. It says this website has been taken down, because he was really serious. You got to do it within 24 hours. I got pissed off at the guy. I thought, you creep. Here you are in the middle of this recession. You're offering something. You have just kind of lowered your brand identity, as far as I'm concerned. Now I see you as someone who was taking advantage of the situation, not someone who was serving. So I think you want to be very careful in this next week or two, at least, so that you don't do things like that. You don't try to induce fear, and you don't oversell. I mean, you teach hard selling, as opposed to hard selling. And I think that that's where you really want to be coming from. Let people know, by the way, I have this thing I think is valuable, but don't be pushing it down your throat, and don't be using scare tactics to sell it.
I agree. Thank you, Jack. Awesome. Great answer on that. And I think it's one of the biggest times. I think the world went away from so much of listening to people just selling, and the world through the whole situation that's happening is taking us back to listening more, which is so important, especially the next 2 weeks, is listen to people's needs and serve them accordingly. That's the most important for everyone out there. So Andrew, let's get another question, which is super awesome.
Sure. Tim Reed had a great question. Tim is in the real estate business, and so he's wondering how he can stay connected to his clients and even perhaps sell real estate online or using these technologies. Do you have any suggestions for the realtors that may be on the call today?
I think the realtors right now need to get into the education industry. So for me, it's really educating, maybe creating a YouTube channel or doing Zoom calls like this, and starting to really go out and educate people. Maybe if I was a realtor right now, I would be studying what the government's doing or the banks are doing, what the government's doing, all that kind of stuff to help people, and really just go out and educate people right now. This is, like Jack spoke about, people in this United States getting 3 months, moratorium on their mortgages and what have you for the next 3 months. In Canada, Jack, it's actually nearly 6 months. I think they've talked about 6 months with our major banks. But the key thing is being the person that's fully educated and putting on some maybe complimentary seminars, just like this, some complimentary seminars, get people registered, educate them on what's happening out in the marketplace. The number one thing people need right now, certainty. People are so uncertain. And like I said earlier, when you have uncertainty, it breeds fear, because people are like, what's happening? I'm not sure. It brings anxiety, whatever. The big thing for me is, let's give, if you wake up in the morning as a realtor or an investor, Tim, and I know Tim extremely well, is make sure that you are waking up going, how do I give people peace of mind right now? How do I give them some certainty? People are wondering, are they going to lose their houses? People are wondering, should I sell my house? Should I maybe go buy right now? What's happening in the marketplace? So the key thing is become a really good educator. Know what the system is doing. If your clients are both American and Canadian, then look both sides of the border, study both sides, and take that education to people. You'll be inundated. Look at this call today. I mean, we hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people on this call with us. Why? Because people are looking for some ideas. People are looking for some certainty. Because the minute we give you 2 or 3 key ideas, so a little bit of let's say some certainty comes in, which means the dust starts to settle for you. So that's important for me. That's what I'd be doing, Tim, is really going out and serving your customer. And of course, record every single video, every single Zoom you do, you record, because that could become a product in the future. It could become a product in the future that could really help people. So that's my number one request, Tim. Just go out and serve your customers, and for all other realtors listening here today as well. I don't know if you have anything to add there, Jack.
I would add, right now, don't think short-term, think long-term. If you're in the real estate business, I'll give you a story. There was a woman up in near Palo Alto, California, just south of San Francisco. And she was on the cover of a realtor magazine that I read. And what she did was she started running workshops for women on how to buy your first home. And so there was a lot of single moms. There were a lot of people that were married, but their husbands weren't thinking about buying real estate. And there were a lot of single women who just, wanted to buy a home. And they didn't know how. And a lot of them, they weren't ready to. But she just started running these weekend workshops. It was really a Saturday. And you could start doing something like that. Now, what she found out was within the next 2 years, all those women that were in that course, when they decided to buy a home, who do you think they decided to buy it from? Her. Because she had created a reputation with them of someone who cares. I remember when I first bought my first house in California, which was a shock, moving from New England, where I sold a 11-acre piece of property for about $100,000. Moved to California, couldn't even buy a 1,500 square foot house for $500,000. But nevertheless, we went to a bunch of open houses, and it was really interesting. You go to an open house, you sign your name, and then only one person followed up with us. One person called us and said, "Oh, I see you're looking for a home. I see the home that you came to isn't what you were looking for, but what are you looking for? Let me find your home for you." And that's the person who sold us the home, because they demonstrated what they weren't just there looking for a quick sale. They were there caring about our kid and getting him in the right school and all that kind of stuff. So I would strongly encourage that, because when you give people peace of mind and certainty and confidence and caring, that's someone they want to do business with, because that's when you buy a home, that's what you want. So I totally agree with you, Colin.
Thank you, Jack. Awesome. Let's take one more question, and I'm going to make sure I honor Jack's time as well. So let's take one more question, Andrew, that, I see you are watching the poll as well. Hence why I was looking to the one side here. I was really watching the poll and where people are at. So what's one more pertinent, so really in line with the key things coming through the poll?
Yeah, I guess going back to mindset, I think there's a really good question here for us. How do you deal with disappointment?
Well, disappointment is twofold. Number one, you create an appointment with the future about how it's supposed to turn out, and then the future disses your appointment. So you end up with disappointment. So the key is not to be attached to the outcome. One of the things I teach people, if you want to have a calm, peaceful, loving life, is to have high intentions, low attachment, meaning I intend to get that result. I'm going to work really hard to get it, but I'm not attached to it. My life doesn't depend on it turning out that way. When it happens, if you do feel some grief or some upset, maybe even some anger, whatever, then what happens is you can say, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm going to live. Nothing's going to happen. I'm not going to die. And just let it go. If you need to share it with someone, a spouse or somebody. But the main thing is to realize you're the one that created the disappointment. And if you don't want to keep creating disappointment, like if I have a son and he keeps disappointing me, it's only because I keep expecting him to be different than he is. And so the same thing is with the world. I mean, we're all disappointed now. Maybe you had your biggest speech ever coming up, or you had your biggest client, or you had your biggest workshop, or you had the best month ever, you know, all projected out, and it didn't happen. But again, it's just called, okay, this is what is. If you did everything you could to make it work, and then you just let it go. I mean, I remember we were doing a workshop. The first time I started doing public seminars, I had I rented a hall, and I put out all these brochures, and I did advertisements, and this was before the internet, so it was a lot of work. And about 6 people showed up. I was expecting 200. What I didn't realize is you should never run a guest event for workshops on a Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Nobody's going to come. You know, they're all kind of thinking about, it's time to drive to grandma's house and, you know, whatever. So that was a learning experience. And so I learned from that. And now I still gave the best seminar I could to the 6 or 9 people that showed up. And I told my staff, look, did we do everything we knew how to do? Yes. Did we give them a good workshop? Yes. Did we enroll some people? Yes. Will we ever do this again the way we did it now? No. So, you know, it's a learning experience. Learn what you can and then let it go. And one of the biggest skills in life is letting go, releasing. One of the things you can do, it sounds corny, but it works, is imagine putting all your disappointment into the basket of a balloon, you know, those big balloons, hot air balloons you go up in. So you take your disappointment, all your expectations, whatever. Imagine putting it in the balloon. Your eyes are closed when you do this. Imagine letting the balloon float up into the air, into the sun, and just disappear. And that is a way of helping release the emotion.
Beautiful, Jack. And I think that the key thing for me around disappointment is, you know, I'm going to go back to one of my favorite statements that, you know, over the last 3 or 4 years has become so important to me. Number one, everything is happening for me and not to me, you know. And even if you've got like a speaking event got canceled, one of my family members contacted me yesterday, and they're like, oh my God. And this is one of my nephew's girlfriends, and she's super excited about her new career and everything else. She had 3 weeks left of her university and college training or whatever it was, to be able to go out and now get a full-time job and get off minimum wage and go and everything else. And she's like, oh my God, my life's so miserable. I had 3 weeks left. I'm like, oh my, I'm like, guess what? You're busy radiating right now. And she's like, Connor, I don't care. That's what it is. I'm like, you see, the problem is for most people, that's what it is. And people keep on saying, well, Colin, you're not in my shoes. You're not in this way. No, you're in your own shoes. What are you putting out there? What is your inner net? What is happening for you on a daily basis, people? Because I don't care about, you know, I mean, sorry, I do care. I care immensely about who you are. But here's the thing. You walk in your own shoes. You vibrate what you vibrate from your own shoes. You talk about what you want to talk about. You talk about disappointment. Just the word disappointment by itself tells you expect something good not to happen. You know, and that is walk in your own shoes. But as you walk forward, realize all of the stuff right now, as much as it might not be super positive for you. You might be looking at it that way. I think everything's positive. Everything's happening for us, not to us. To us, we go to blame others. For us, we look internally and go, maybe it wasn't meant to be. I'm like online today and I'm like, this is the most exciting thing that's ever happened to my business, because I wouldn't be online right now if this hadn't happened for me. You know, so I'm just excited, like so excited to see all of you see the same excitement.
Well, let me add something to that. Think back over your life. Think about the girlfriend that left you. Think about the job you got fired from. Think about the divorce you might have gone through. And if you look back over time, you always go like, oh, I'm so glad I left that job because I have a much better job now. I'm glad they fired me. I'm so glad that relationship didn't work out. Garth Brooks has a song called Unanswered Prayers. And one of the lines is he goes back to his high school prom. The girl that he was totally in love with, who didn't love him and didn't date him, she was now an overweight alcoholic. And he said, thank God for unanswered prayers, you know? So the things that don't turn out, if we look back over time, we go, I'm really glad that didn't turn out. I'll give you one good example. So when I got divorced 20 years ago, Chicken Soup for the Soul, I had about $30 million. And basically I had to cut it in half, give my wife $15 million. And then basically I ended up giving her almost everything I had in order to keep my business, because they valued my business at the same amount of money as whatever. So I had offered her half of everything I would ever make the rest of my life, right? So I thought, this is not fair. This sucks. This is not whatever. So about 10, 15 years later, we sell chicken soup for the soul for an undisclosed amount that I can't say because of confidentiality agreements I signed. But trust me, it was way more than $50 million by a lot of tens. And so what happens is I would have had to give her half of that. I didn't have to do that. So I'm actually richer now than I would have been if I'd have kept the half I had and invested it. So thank God for an answered prayer. So just if you begin at, like, live your life from the perspective of what Colin said, this is happening for me, not to me. I might be able to not see it yet, but if I trust that, I'm going to feel good. That's going to keep my vibration high. And that woman, would you say it was your daughter or someone you knew? Was
yeah,
all
my nephew's girlfriend, wife, what have you.
Your nephew's girlfriend, whatever. What happens is she may meet someone now while she's not in school that she never would have met, that offers her an amazing job that she would never have been exposed to because she wasn't in school. So you just have to be open to that. But if you're just complaining and blaming, who wants to hire someone that's negative? So you're exactly right.
Yeah, I think, Jack, that one thing I'm gonna hold on to there, which is makes my heart so happy, is is make sure that if you realize it's happening, hold the space to it, because this stuff is going to show up for you in the next few weeks that it'll stun you. But if you're so focused on, I can't pay my mortgage, I can't pay my rent, whatever, you're in the pond of another probably 100 or 200 million people. So don't worry about focusing on what you cannot control right now. Focus on what you can control, which is who you are, what you radiate, the stature that the posture that you hold, and keep your shoulders back. Be positive, because the stuff will show up in so many ways. And just say to yourself, if this is all happening for me, what am I meant to find out from this? I mean, everything. I look at even my own life, Jack, of how stuff has happened for me over the while. I mean, I'll talk about it, just give you an example too, which is, I think the people who know, is when I came to Panama in January to the Transformation Leadership Council, that when I came down, I was like, this is the first time I've ever been without Gabby. And I'm like, why am I going without Gabby? She's in Hawaii with our girls doing gymnastics. It's the first TLC I've ever been to without my wife. And I was like, I suppose this is happening for me. And the connections I got to make and the in-depth discussions I got into and what have you, because I held the energy around that, saying, obviously this is what's meant to be. And it's meant to be the right thing for me to attend by myself. And I loved Gabby always with me because she's such an important part to me. But you know what? It was the best TLC I've ever had. I got to meet some of the most amazing people. I had a great connection with you, and we've been talking about doing work together and what have you. So The key thing for me, when you open up and you hold to the possibility, the minute you get consumed by negativity, it's like looking through the windshield, and the windshield's full of, let's put it bluntly, full of shit and bugs and what have you. That's all your negativity. You cannot see where you're going with a windshield full of crap. Get rid of the crap, clean the windshield, which means clear your heart, clear your vibration to what you truly want, so you can see where you're going and attract truly what you want, everybody. So super awesome. So Jack, thank you so much for being on today. I mean, it's my pleasure to have you on. I consider you a really great friend, and just big love to you and Inga, and may you all be safe and your family be safe at this time as well.
Thank you. To you and Gabby and all of your students as well. Thanks for the opportunity to share what I know to help. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome, and blessings to you. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon. And for all of you listening today and that have been on today, I trust that I see from the poll that everyone's like, I feel more inspired, I feel more motivated, I see more opportunity out there, which is fantastic. So please go out and share with everybody else. Get more people onto these calls with us. We're here to serve, to make sure you get what you need during these times. Tomorrow is going to be super creativity, so make sure you don't miss tomorrow's call. And then, of course, the rest of the week, just continue to help you, give you strategies. Today's getting your mind in the game. Once you got your mind in the game, got your heart open, got the bugs off the windshield, now you can see things differently, which we need for the rest of the week. So looking forward to serving you all through the rest of the week. And Jack, once again, big loves and blessings to you, my friend.
To you too.
Thanks so much, and see you soon. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Love and hugs, Jack.